Today on Passion for Food, we're going to be making this amazingly easy one-pot dinner. It's spaghetti goulash with ground beef. Now, the origins of goulash date back to the 9th century, where it was originally made by Hungarian shepherds. But as Hungary as I am, that's not the version we're going to be making today. We're going to be making a more classic American version with a spaghetti twist. And we're actually going to be making that over a campfire, just like those shepherds back in the 9th century. This week I'm actually out on the Appalachian Trail, which is an epic trail that runs almost the entire length of the eastern United States, all the way from Georgia to Canada. I'm going to include a little bonus footage at the end of this beautiful area, but for now, let's go ahead and gather some firewood. I'm not really exactly sure how much wood. I'll have to check the logs on that. Anyway, you see how I have 3 large rocks in the middle of my fire circle that I'm building the fire on top of here? That's just in case the large logs that I'm going to use later, essentially as a rack for my pot, burn all the way down. I want to have some kind of foundation there that my Dutch oven can actually sit on. Anyway, once things have sufficiently burned down, but we still have a little fire action going, we want to go ahead and add our Dutch oven or other pot of choice right to the middle where those 3 stones are. And I'm going to add 1.5 pounds of ground chuck to that, along with 1 large onion, along with 3 stalks of celery, along with 3 or 4 cloves of crushed garlic. I like crushing it myself. You crush yours however you like. And we are going to want to season with about a tablespoon or so of salt and pepper to taste. Yes, I did drag this crazy salt cellar and pepper grinder up onto the Appalachian Trail with me. Hey, that's not weird. You're weird. Anyway, we just want to get this all mixed together and cooking. There's plenty of fat in that ground beef that there's really no need to add anything additional to our Dutch oven here. I decided to go ahead and stir mine and then let it sit for just a minute before I continued, but turns out fire hot. Ow! Yeah, turns out those metal tongs heated up in a big hurry, sitting right above that burning log. But if you're doing this at home, you won't have to worry too much about that. And I thought this was cooking a little slower than I liked, so we're going to go ahead and turn up the heat here. You know how to turn up the heat on a campfire, right? I guess you could say it really blows. Anyway, now that we've gotten all fired up, it's time to talk a little bit about seasoning. As I mentioned, this is an American-style goulash, so we're going to be using 2 tablespoons of Italian seasoning. That's mostly basil, rosemary, and thyme. In addition, I'm going to be using about 1 teaspoon of MSG. Now, I know somehow, even after all of these years, there are people out there that will tell you MSG is bad and you shouldn't use it. But not only is there no clinical evidence to support that, but MSG is naturally occurring in lots of foods that you're probably already eating. So unless you have some special sensitivity, the MSG is recognized as safe to add to food. But go ahead and use it or not. It really does add a nice umami flavor to this. Most of the American-style goulash recipes I was able to find either used soy sauce or Worcestershire sauce to achieve the same goal, but I figured I'd just go right to the source here. And to that, I'm going to add 2 cans of stewed tomatoes. That's about 30 ounces, which is a lot less tomato than you'll see in most of the American-style goulash recipes. But I feel like a lot of those kind of turn into like some kind of weird tomato soup with a bunch of other stuff in it. And that's really not what I'm going for here. So now let's go ahead and add our water to cook the spaghetti in. You're going to want a total of 3 cups, about 1.5 pounds. I only started out with 2 cups there to be sure, but we're going to be adding that 3rd cup in just a little bit here. I wanted to be a little conservative with the water because this is not going to get drained. It's actually going to absorb all of that wonderful sauce that we have in our American-style goulash. And we have a full pound of spaghetti here. It's going to take that just a moment to cook down enough to actually get the lid on our pot, but that's okay. Or at least it would have been okay if I hadn't thought it was smart to try and burn that little cardboard spaghetti box right near the spaghetti. Yeah, that was stupid. Don't do that. After all, there's nothing like getting fired over a noodle. Anyway, once those have softened up a little, we can go ahead and cover that and cook it for a couple of minutes before we want to have a look and see how those noodles are developing. This is the point where I went ahead and added that third cup of water. And we'll just cover this and continue simmering until our spaghetti is cooked. You definitely want to give it the quick old stir around a couple of times just to make sure those noodles aren't sticking together, especially cooked in one pot like that. They're really going to have a tendency to want to clump together. But after a little canoodling with our noodle and about 10 or 15 minutes of cooking, our American-style campfire goulash is looking good. Now, once the noodles are cooked, I do recommend slapping a lid on this and letting it sit for just another 2 or 3 minutes to let that sauce kind of thicken up. But other than that, our American-style campfire goulash is ready to eat. So let's go ahead and log on here and have a look. Me and my wife really loved how this goulash came out, and it's a great one-pot dinner at your campsite or on your stovetop. And to serve this, we could use all kinds of different cheeses or toppings, but I just like a little bit of Parmesan cheese on mine. This one-pot American-style goulash is an easy and fun dish that you can tweak to make just however you would like, so I definitely hope you give that a try. And I just wanted to give you folks a quick look at this beautiful little area around this campsite. I really am out in the woods. That wasn't a green screen. I really hope you've enjoyed today's episode of Passion for Food. If you have, give me a thumbs up below and don't forget to subscribe and hit that little bell so you don't miss our future recipes. And check out one of our other great videos playing on the screen now. This has been Graham with Passion for Food.